Obviously, we just gave Juventus so much credit, but what did today's result mean, do you think, for Napoli's title defence?
I think the reigning champions of Italy, and they just got beat 3-0 by Juventus away from home, missing so many players. It's been an unlucky year for them in terms of the amount of injuries that they've had. Still to see what happens in the transfer market. They're 9 points from Inter. I think it would take a miracle to come back from this. I think it's too big of a distance. They would have to be perfect until that point, and Inter looks like they're flying. So we might find out today, too. If Milan slip up, it could be Inter really running away with it and separating from the pack. But as I said in the pregame, starting to believe that it is Milan the best chance to stop it from Inter. And for Napoli, it hasn't been a right season for them. Do
you feel the same, Graham?
For Napoli, for me, the way they play, even when they have their 11 players, is it's not the most beautiful. I think we've said that. We've covered that for sure. They cross a lot of balls. They win in a different way, obviously. The injury, just like you applaud Antonio Conte and you applaud the organization and everything else, you have to also look at it when you see all the injuries. The injuries are not magic. The injuries don't happen randomly. They're not unlucky. Injuries happen with the way that you play football, with how much you run, how much you train, how much you demand of the players. And he has, in a good way, and now we're seeing in a bad way, what he does is he gets everything. He squeezes every last juice out of the players. He gets the max out of them, the most that they can. And then, of course, season 2, season 3, season 4, we know what happens. And so the injuries and the struggle, I think it was something that was always just going to be in the cards for Napoli. They don't have enough to compete year in and year out with the likes of the Inters and the Milans and the Juventus of the world. That's just been the reality of Napoli's, of what Napoli is.
Mm-hmm. Historically, his teams don't have that many injuries, though. Historically, even in his second year in Serie A,
the injury is here.
In Serie A, his teams do get better. So and a goalkeeper getting injured, is a goalkeeper getting injured?
The injury is
muscle?
Here. But you have to take it for what it is right now, what we're seeing. The foundation of this season so far, this Napoli side, you'd have to say I agree with Grella in a certain degree where it's got to be something with the training, because you've got 3 players with the same type of injury. That means it's training related, whether it's the preparation or after, whatever it is, that is related to how you train. So I think for me, the biggest factor of Napoli's season so far, the biggest Achilles heel has been the injuries to players. Yes, Kevin De Bruyne got injured, but that's different. That's not really a training injury. That's an in-game injury. But it's played a factor in their Scudetto title race this season.
Mm-hmm. The Scott McTominay button, it's worn out. There's no more there, you know what I mean? You could only get so much from playing a certain way.
They've also been in the
That's the reality of it.
Also a terrible transfer market, you have to say.
They missed a lot.
Terrible Gutierrez today was a mess.
But that's on them.
I'm not saying it's not.
That's something that they have to take accountability for as well.
They got the signings wrong.
There's 43 points they've got now in the table. You can see Juventus just 1 point behind them, but Roma still to play later on this afternoon against Milan. So if Roma win, they'll overtake Napoli in terms of the table as well. So it's hugely defining in terms of the top. Here's what Napoli have done when they've conceded first. All the numbers go against them, and they've actually only managed to come back once from those 8 games, and you can see how many points they've dropped. Why do they struggle so much? Is this a mentality problem, Marco?
No, not for me. It's a tactic problem. Most of the time, teams will concede possession, right, if they go up 1 goal, and that means Napoli is going to have to be the one that dictates the play. That's when Napoli struggle the most. It's the creative outlet, that final 20, 30 meters on the pitch. It's been clear to them. They struggle to score goals, especially when you're missing Neres and Lukaku and all these guys. Those are the only ones that could solve this situation. Today it was clear too. Even the way they started the second half, they were in possession of the ball. That's actually when Napoli are in their worst situation. They win the bigger games because they don't need a lot of possession. They can run at defenses when they have space in behind. So for me, that's why that happens consistently.
I think Marco makes a great point, but I would say for me it would be Kevin De Bruyne. That's the reason why they brought him into this side. And I know at times we looked and discussed about how he's going to fit in this Napoli team, how they had to change of him being there. But they brought him to be that creative element in that final third in moments like this. And him being injured, he's become now, you can see evidently he's a big loss. Because the reason why they brought him there was to do that role, to be the guy who unlocks defences that want to sit deep with the players around him. And again, it goes back to the conversation we just had. Injuries have been the Achilles heel for Napoli this season so far. And you look at the amount of players injured, Lukaku, De Bruyne, and all the other ones that they've missed.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of the midfield, Grell, it's been the complete opposite, hasn't it, for Juventus? Here's just a look at their day. You talked about Kepa and Thuram, but they were next level across the middle today. Is that where it was won for you?
Look at the shirts swarming. 3-4 shirts, Juventus shirts swarming. McTominay. We talked about the game in the game before, the big holes that would be in that midfield. And then McKennie was helping out in there as well. So there was so many good moments. Thuram, Thuram is best when he's breaking lines on the dribble, but he can also break them with his passing as well. I thought he had a phenomenal game today. There was a couple unbelievable moments where he picked up so many loose balls. This one, Bremer's like a freight train coming in through there, winning those balls, and they're just coming right back down the other way. And you see this leads to the Concacaf chance. In the end, Buongiorno ends up making an unbelievable save. But look at the pressure from Juventus. Look at the way they're closing spaces. Okay, so that's the first ball. This is the second ball here. And then there's the third ball, and they win this. And watch what Thuram is able to do. I don't know if there's any other player in the midfield that can do this. He went through 3-4 lines on the dribble. And obviously, it adds so much in so many different ways to you. And we know that Juventus can do that part of the game. We know that. But the other part was, can they break down teams? Can they play with more fluidity? Can they get the ball wide and create chances? And under Spalleti, slowly but surely, it's starting to look like they're getting better on that side of the football as well.
His contract is contingent to the end of the season if they make top four. Is that starting to feel more and more comfortable for you?
Chiellini said it himself, director of football. He said we're getting closer and closer to renewing that Spalletti contract because you're seeing the improvement in the style of football. We've shown the numbers too. Until last week, I think Inter's the only team from when Spalletti joined that had more goals and more points than them, which tells you the story. But it's the improvement in so many of these individual players and the maturity. This team used to be a team that made so many mistakes, that was not concentrated for 90 minutes. They're so mature as a squad. And Nigel rightly pointed out the midfield battle. Yes, Thuram was amazing. I know we'll highlight him more later, but Locatelli. Locatelli's improved tremendously. Not only the assist, but even the balls won back in the midfield. It's so vital, and that's been an aspect to Juventus. You said it before, Cristiano Ronaldo was the moment where Juventus started going downhill. It was also the moment where they stopped investing into the midfield and were getting so many deals, and they didn't have a lot of technical ability in that midfield.
I think for me, the biggest thing for Juventus moving forward, yes, you got to sign up the manager, but it's also now moving forward recruiting. The players that they get in now, they have to go back to the foundations and get some of the best hidden gems in Europe like they used to, and get them to become the polished and finished article and go back to that. That's what it is. The recruiting for the next stage now of what they're going to do to compete in the Champions League and Scudetto race is vital. They've got a good little foundation of young players there. They've got to get the right elements and a little bit of ingredients left to make it a real complete squad. Quick one, is that tea or coffee, Poppy? Are they sipping on tea or coffee?
Tea. You've got to put your little finger up if you have tea, not with coffee. You like that celebration in the Champions League.
Espresso? Is that an espresso?
I guess it could be, but I don't know. I thought it was tea.
Do you ever put your little finger up if you drink an espresso?
Sometimes.
You do?
Yeah. I do by accident. Sometimes I realize it's there.
Come on, Marco definitely does. Good espresso.
You like their celebration this week in the Champions League.
I love it.
They bring the boy band back together.
You could do that all that you want as long as you're winning football matches. Show your personality. Absolutely love it. And it also shows they're really tight as a unit.
Yes.
That is what that's telling you. To celebrate like that, they're very tight. Love it.
Thanks for watching this video from our CBS Sports Matchday coverage. For more analysis and for all of the games, including Serie A, EFL, as well as a full suite of UEFA club competitions like the UEFA Women's Champions League, sign up for Paramount+.